super fun B-movies by Cirio H. Santiago, the king of the Filipino B-film industry. This is a name that's uttered in the same breath as Filipino cinema. B-movie lovers from all over the world have loved and admired his work for decades, and even today, he is hailed as one of the most important producers of Asia. Yes, he is none other than the talented Cirio H. Santiago. He was a visionary who realized pretty early that some changes were required to make the content appeal to a global audience. He started off by inheriting his father's company and paying a substantial turnaround to the national cinema. As for his movies, he introduced American actors in decline and picked up scripts in English. He explored a wide range of genres as a producer and director. From war and action flicks to erotic melodramas, his long career has a bit of everything in it. He even tried out the blaxploitation genre by starring African-American heroes in his movies. This prolific Filipino filmmaker breathed his last in the year 2008, leaving behind an irreparable void in the B-movie industry.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Silk, 1986. Silk is one of the toughest cops in Honolulu. This gorgeous female cop is a hardened fighter who shows no mercy towards criminals. She starts off by cracking down on some small-time smugglers, but soon she realizes that a larger syndicate's at play. They're trying to smuggle Asian mobsters into the United States using the identities of Hawaiian citizens. The fierce cop now takes on the entire organization and will fight non-stop till she completes her mission. The plot is probably enough of a giveaway that you're not supposed to take this movie seriously. This low-budget effort is all about the tough female cop who single-handedly fights criminals. Armed with her trusty handgun and her daunting physical presence, she fearlessly blasts away the machine gun-toting bad guys. She is as comfortable with a shotgun as she is with an M16. The body count rises as the baddies try to get the better of her. Cess Varel, who plays the titular role, proves her credentials right from the opening scene, where she performs some daring stunts. Besides looking strong and intimidating, she's also alluring in her low-cut vests and a physique to die for. The other Philippines-based B actors are potent in their roles, and the film gets a groovy guitar-based soundtrack by Willie Cruz that keeps the energy up. There's enough excitement in the plot, especially when Silk is kidnapped by the arch-villain Austin. The fight scenes are entertaining, and as long as you don't mind the cliched narrative, you will definitely have a wonderful time watching this movie. Sisterhood, 1988. In a futuristic post-apocalyptic world, a group of women are fighting to stay alive after they're enslaved by a brutal army of men. These men are veterans of the Western War, and there seems to be no means of escaping. In such helplessness, their only hope is a nomadic band of fierce women warriors who have unique paranormal powers. The army of men has defeated them before, but this group, known as the Sisterhood, try to overcome them this time with their paranormal abilities. Can they rescue the captives and make the land a better place? This post-Holocaust tale from Cirio H. Santiago is a goofy narrative of female empowerment, where women rise from the ashes to claim their freedom. The nomadic ladies, known as the Sisterhood, are the only powers to restore equality. This movie is a great light-hearted entertainer for sci-fi fans as long as they don't mind the cheesiness of the plot. The three main heroines, Rebecca Holden, Barbara Patrick, and Lynn Holly Johnson, generate enough interest among the viewers, and the villains are appropriately odious. Considering the meager budget, the costumes and sets are pretty decent. The female cast is a sight for sore eyes, and other performances from the likes of Robert Dreyer and Anthony East are impressive as well. The fight scenes leave a lot to be desired, as there are some poorly timed moments, but the overall steady-paced storyline keeps things interesting for the viewer. Angelfist, 1993. A kickboxer named Christy catches an assassination in the Philippines on film, and because of that, she's killed by the radicals who have some sinister plans ahead of them. Her sister Kat is a police officer in Los Angeles and comes down to Manila to get justice for her murdered sister. She takes part in a kickboxing tournament to get closer to the notorious group at work, and soon she unravels their twisted plans. However, with an army of baddies after her, Kat will need all her skills to come out on top. If you enjoy female martial arts action, you will love this movie and the story on offer. The action is plentiful, especially during the kickboxing tournament sequences, which is a treat to watch. The plot is passable with a few flaws here and there, but with the occasional skin show and beautiful ladies, you are going to overlook all of them. However, one of the glaring problems in this movie is that none of the girls can actually fight. Melissa Moore has a delightful presence, but barring a handful of different moves, her fights aren't exactly smooth. Katya Sassoon, too, is another major attraction of this movie and delivers a decent performance. Overall, Angelfist is a thorough entertainer without care for logic and realism, but it can make for a perfect movie night with friends. Demon of Paradise, 1987. An illegal dynamite fishing expedition goes terribly wrong when the explosions awake a mythological lizard man from his hibernation. This beastly creature known as Aqua is now a threat to the lives of those living around the region. As the patrons of a local resort fall prey to the monster, the owner teams up with the sheriff in a valiant attempt to save the tourists from the fury of the lizard man. The plot is undoubtedly engaging, where you see a carnivorous reptilian humanoid terrorizing a tropical resort. The problem is that the lack of budget shows in the creature effects, which is nothing but a laughable, hokey, rubbery suit. In fact, although the makers tried to portray Hawaii, they actually shoot in the Philippines, and that's obvious from the overabundance of palm trees. Besides the mediocre creature suit, the acting performances aren't exactly going to make you crazy either. The beautiful locations and the photography are the saving grace, and if you look through the meandering narrative, you actually have some entertaining moments. The cheesy gore and the spooky atmosphere are things you would expect from such B-movies, and the likes of Leslie Scarborough and Laura Banks make it all worth the trouble. In short, this is one creature feature that only the most hardcore admirers of the genre will appreciate, because all the good stuff here comes with a pinch of salt. Naked Vengeance, 1985. Carla has a happy and peaceful life as she lives with her handsome, loving husband, Mark. However, life changes when Mark is killed, and the police can't seem to make much sense of the case due to a lack of witnesses. It becomes worse when she's raped in her parents' house, and her parents are killed by her ex-boyfriend and his accomplice. Carla wakes up in the hospital fuming for revenge, and she devises some clever plans to get back at all those individuals who made her life into a living hell. Vengeance is best when served naked. As the breathtaking beauty Deborah Trinelli goes about her revenge spree, you are bound to root for her. This movie has a great plot that flourishes with a wonderful presentation. You would be wrong to dub this as just another chick vengeance flick, because this is a class apart with all the suspense and tension in the mix of things. This movie is often hailed as one of Santiago's best works. The methods that Carla adopts to kill her victims are derived from the usual slasher movies, but the execution is flawless. In fact, some scenes, such as the brutal rape scene, are hauntingly realistic. Deborah Trinelli delivers a power-packed performance in terms of acting, and even sung the title song for the movie. The fury and intensity of the scenes will please the action fans, and you simply cannot miss out on this gem of a movie if you want to try out the best works of Cirio H. Santiago. Firecracker, 1981. Suzanne Carter is a gorgeous martial arts instructor in Los Angeles. When her sister, who is a journalist, goes missing in the Philippines, Suzanne travels all the way around the world to look for her. However, once in the country, Suzanne finds that the local mafia is running a huge racket of drugs and arms under the garb of their martial arts tournament. When her sister is found dead, all hell breaks loose as Suzanne goes on a rampage seeking revenge against her sister's killers. Yes, there is a plot for this movie, but you might just look past it as you'll be in awe of the gorgeous Jillian Kesner, who slays without much clothing for a major part of the film. She has about 10 fight scenes in the movie, and although they aren't the best in terms of martial arts, you won't be complaining. There are some unforgettable moments that ensure that this is classified as superior trash. The fight sequence where Jillian Kesner's bra was sliced off was actually an accident during filming, but Cirio Santiago decided to keep it for the movie. The final fight scene is simply epic, where you see the heroine steadily losing pieces of her clothing in the fight. There are some great shots taken around the Philippines that add to the cinematography. Not many people can combine a karate fight scene with a slow strip, and Cirio H. Santiago deserves all the credit for such innovations. The Mothers, 1976. This story is as bizarre as it gets, but we suppose the allowance level is pretty thick when it comes to B-movies by Cirio H. Santiago. The Mothers is about a group of female pirates. One of them, Kelly, has lost her sister, who is stuck in a gruesome prison camp. The other pirates go on a daring mission to rescue the young girl from one of the deadliest prison camps that you will ever find. You know a film isn't meant to be trash when it manages to impress the versatile director Quentin Tarantino. He liked the execution of the preposterous story that's on offer and thoroughly enjoyed the final product. That being said, we must admit that a plot that comprises a band of female pirates and a daring rescue mission isn't very convincing given the circumstances. The technical aspects might be poor, but the weaknesses become a strength for this film, as the wild and crazy moments make things entertaining. There is plenty of exciting action in this movie, but the ineptly staged martial arts fights can be a bit of a disappointment. However, all of your complaints will be addressed in the engaging climactic scenes that see a fair bit of grueling action. The cast is led by Jeannie Bell, who has made a few appearances in blaxploitation flicks like TNT Jackson. She does a wonderful job, with good support from the other actresses. While this movie is no cult classic, it certainly is a fun diversion that can lighten up your day. TNT Jackson, 1974. Diana Jackson is a martial arts expert who gets news that her brother is missing. She arrives in Hong Kong to dig deeper into the disappearance and suspects the role of an influential gangster and his men. She gets help from a friend named Joe, and together they wage war on the deadly gang. No one is safe from the wrath of the lady who's desperate to get her beloved brother. You're in for a joyride if blaxploitation flicks or kung fu trash action films are entertaining for you. TNT Jackson has no pretension about what it is, and what it is a blatant, funky blaxploitation classic featuring the charming Jean Bell. While she's no Pam Grier, she does hog the limelight with a delightful performance. The plot is predictable, and the dialogue offers frequent laughs. Besides these, you have the conventional action scenes and the occasional nudity to spice things up. As for the action, there are some innovative sequences with a couple of special moves. Don't start comparing these with Jackie Chan classics and you won't be disappointed. Where the film really falters is the poor editing and the glaring production flaws that almost become funny after a point. This is a mindless blaxploitation martial arts mashup, and you should expect nothing more from this enjoyable entertainer.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.